Hi, I'm Diego Mangabeira and welcome back to BoringSales. Today we're going to talk about the sales audit and how I was able to fix pipeline in 2 weeks from a client that I worked with. And I'm going to share the exact process that I use with this client. And when a client brings me in and says something, our pipeline is broken or I don't know why, something that might being occurring in your company. Sometimes you don't know how to handle your pipeline, or you don't have operational way or process SOP that might be replicated, or even you have a new hire. He or she does have something that he did in the past or she did in the past that worked, but if we evaluate for your company, it must not be applicable or must not apply. I've run this audit with SaaS companies, startups, consulting firms, and enterprise teams across 3 continents. I have experience, especially in the US, mostly in the US, nationwide, but I worked with North America, Latin, EMEA, APAC, Middle East as well. And we're going to show you how I did it. And in the 2 weeks, something less, and I can tell you exactly where the revenue is leaking, because when we're talking about pipeline, we're talking about revenue, okay, and what to do first. And this is the process. The first thing, one of the common things that I hear when I start a new engagement, a new consultancy, or even a conversation like we're having now here via video or audio, or even this is the first impression, this is the first time that you are listening to me. We have a lot of activity, but nothing is closing. Okay, most of the time, the thermometer, so for the companies, are related to closure, how many calls we're having and how many closing metrics we're having. Most of the time, this is the best KPI that we could use. Everybody's busy. SDRs are sending mails, doing their work. AIs are on the calls. They are active, I'll say, but CRM has hundreds of open deals. But the number that matters, close /1, barely moves. Something is wrong. It's, like a doctor, we need to evaluate what is not happening. What's the disease? What's the symptoms that we could evaluate together? That's not a motivation problem. Sometimes they're really excited to reach their own goals or to overcome what they need to do. Is a diagnostic problem. Nobody is locked at the pipeline as a system, because you only can have this leverage when you understand the CRM is not just input data for my manager, for my boss. It's a system that needs. That's why we call BoringSales is a boring system. But once you have that data, you can redo it. You can evaluate the KPIs, the analytics better in the long term. Okay, and they're treating symptoms most of the time, not the disease. It's like science, right? Most of the time, or medicine, we're just curing the symptoms, not the disease. The core, what we need to do totally in the first place. The sales audit is how I find the disease in the first 2 weeks. So there are some steps, and I'm going to share. There are 4 in this case that I'm going to share with you, and basically, in terms of diagnosis, the first step is put the pipeline data, no spin. Export every single opportunity, open opportunity. Look at deal age, stage, last activity date, and deal source. From where this deal is coming from. LinkedIn, mail outreach, so inbound, outbound, referral, events, something like that. Most pipeline have 40 to 60 zombie deals, so nobody's handling it. They're ghosting you, something like that. Open button touched for 30 plus days. That's your first problem. Step number 2, run the conversation math. And what does that mean? How many deals move from stage 1 to 2, or from 2 to 3, from proposal to close? You have that measurement, to have that KPI, to have the number, if I would ask you now, do you have it? The stage with the biggest drop off is your bottleneck on this case. Everything else is noise, because as soon as you identify what is struggling, your main constraint, the better and easier for you to fix it. The step number 3 on the diagnosis is listen to 5 lost deal recordings or read 5 lost deal noises. So what does that mean? Not win stories. Most of the time, they're going to reiterate how bad you are in sales. I'm not saying that you're a bad salesperson, but you weren't able to close that one. What happened, right? And make it like an analysis, right? Like a psychologist, or psychiatrist doing their own research, or his or her own research. Lost stories on this case. Specifically, what did they say no? Why? Okay. At what stage? What was the last thing they said? The phrase, the sentence. You can sense, you can feel why they didn't close with you. I've diagnosed entire pipelines on this case, problems in 30 minutes. Most of the time you can evaluate and analyze what's the biggest constraint you might have in your pipeline. Just by reading reason for loss fields in the CRM. You have that field inside your CRM, independently of the CRM. So it might be Pipedrive, Salesforce, HubSpot, Zoho, any other one. Step number 4, interview 3 reps for 20 minutes each. So it's going to be 1 hour tops. Ask, what's the most common reason deals stall? So they stay like that. And what objection, sales objection in this case, are you least confident handling, right? Their answers tell you where the real gaps are, especially in your team. Sometimes this is the unheard. They are not sharing with you. They are sometimes worried if they share with you as a manager. I'm going to be fired. I'm going to be reevaluated. Are my sales commission going to decrease? Something like that. They are worried, or even they are sad because they are not accomplishing what they were hired for, and they usually already know what those objections are, but they are not sharing. Sometimes they are afraid or of telling you that, because sometimes you do not open that opportunity for them to share. Okay. In the week 2, the week 1 is the diagnosis. The week 2, we're going to go to intervention, and we're going to have 4 steps as well, but they are going to be related to this new stage. This is where it gets tactical, so don't rush. You need to take really slowly sometimes, but you need to make it so. Step number 5 on this case, kill the zombie deals. You need to do it. Any deal untouched for 45 plus days gets a breakup email. You need to do that. Either it revives or it gets removed from the forecast. Sometimes when I was hired as a BDR or account executive, I did that. I could revive some deals, but most of the things, like a Pareto law, right? 20% of these deals are going to be revived, and they're going to generate 80% of these zombie deals, and 80% of these zombie deals are going to contemplate or to measure 20% of the revenue that we're going to generate. You need to do that, right? You need to send that like a new opportunity to establish another relationship, and if A or an A, you're going to proceed. Okay, a clean pipeline in this case is more valuable than a big pipeline. Sometimes you're going to create this, enlarge what you're creating, but you're not delivering. Step number 6 from this intervention is fix the bottleneck stage. What does it mean? If most deals die at proposal, right, on the first stages, your proposal process is broken, not your prospecting. It's not your prospecting that's wrong, or ICP or persona. It's the way that you're creating that proposal that's different. If most deals die at discovery on your demo calls, the way that you want to call it, you're qualifying wrong or skipping pain questions. So you need to teach or even to educate your account executives or whomever is handling the calls on a different matter, okay, different manner in this case. Focus the entire intervention at one broken stage, not all of them at the same time. You're not going to do that because you're not going to accomplish anything. Don't fix everything at once. Step number 7 from this intervention is rebuild the one core sentence or sequence. That is, most teams have 12 sequences. Most get ignored because of copywriting or they are too old. They don't express the value entirely, or they are not working anymore because of some other reason that I cannot share now. I simplified to one primary outbound sequence: tested, measured, owned. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Most of the times, or most of the salespeople, they are trying, oh, I'm going to do that differently. But most of the time, what it does convert is what is simple for the leads. Step number 8 on this intervention, set the weekly rhythm. So what does that mean? Monday, pipeline review. Monday, Friday, active log. So you're going to evaluate the team Monday, Friday. Bi-weekly ICP check. Let's see if we're delivering for the right people on this case. The boring part from it is making this a habit, not an event. And most of the time when I set up calls with your team, you're doing that as an event, not as a boring habit that you need to have. That's why consistency wins every single day instead of just creating a all hands meeting. It doesn't matter. What it does matter is money on your pocket. Okay, and the bigger lesson in this case is make it philosophical for a moment in terms of here's what surprised most clients. The audit itself isn't magic. It's true story. You're going to evaluate everything I just described. For instance, you could do by yourself today. You have the steps. You have the 8 steps that I just shared with you. Diagnosis, intervention. Okay, you can do by yourself. The reason it works when I come in as a whole is in what I'm not emotionally attached to the numbers. The numbers might change, but you need to evaluate, you need to increase, you need to go wherever you want to go with them. Okay, I can look at a pipeline full of wishful thinking and call it what it is, right? If I evaluate that, does this represent what I would like to have as a team or as a sales team? Okay. The most valuable thing is in a sales audit isn't the framework, is the honest look. Stop over evaluating. Stop using your own perceptions. See the numbers as they are. Okay. So here's my challenge for you. Pick one thing. I mentioned it before and audit just that. Okay. This week, put the zombies deals away from you. Listen to 5 lost recordings. Run the stage conversion math. You don't need 2 weeks. Most of the time, you're not going to use those 2 weeks. Most of the time, it's going to be really quicker than we are talking now. But you must at least use 2 hours in the willingness to see what is real. The sales audit isn't glamorous. Nobody is doing most of the time because they're too smart to do so, right? It's not a launch event or a rebrand that's more marketing fancy or luxury, something like that. It's a Tuesday morning with a spreadsheet and an honest conversation, something like that. But it's how broken pipelines become predictable once. And once you start doing it, you'll see that they're going to create like a change in terms of management, in terms of the way that you see sales, and most of the time, the way that you can interact with your peers. Independently if you're an SDR, BDR, account executive, sales manager, CEO, founder of your company, the most important thing is that you're going to evaluate your numbers and get better. And using this boring system, this boring audit, you're going to do so. Okay. Wish you a great day. See you in the next episode from Boring Sales. I'm Diego Mangabeira. See you soon. Bye. Take care.